The Jianghu, the world of martial arts and wandering heroes, often overlooked the hidden realms that overlapped their own, the ancient whispered domain of the spirits. Within this hidden world lived Maixing, the fox spirit, a nine-tailed entity whose millennia of existence had resulted not in arrogance, but in a profound, deep sorrow. Maixing's burden was the fate of her kind. Though powerful, they were universally feared, their true intentions forever obscured by the myth of their deception. Her sorrow stemmed from a single, devastating event centuries ago. A moment when genuine kindness shown to a human scholar was repaid with a cruel and swift betrayal. Since then, she resided near the Qingfeng Mountains, her movements dictated by the shifting mists and the lingering hope that true, pure trust might still exist between the realms. She mastered the art of illusion, weaving temporary mortal forms to move through the edges of human society, always observing, never truly belonging. But even in her self-imposed isolation, the turmoil of the Jianghu occasionally reached her sacred grove. The grand city of Longmen, nestled at the foot of the Qingfeng Range, was currently suffering from a terror far beyond the capabilities of mortal martial heroes. A beast of immense crushing power, a creature of shadow and corrupted scales, referred to only as the Cinder Beast, had begun its nightly siege upon the outer districts. The Cinder Beast was not a true demon, but a once noble creature, perhaps a shadow Kilin, twisted by a malignant artifact buried deep beneath the mountain soil. Its power was apocalyptic. Its roars shook the very foundations of Longmen's watchtowers, and its dark, burning breath turned stone into ash. The desperate city leaders finally issued the famed Golden Scroll summons, calling upon the greatest hero in the land to face the monstrous threat. The one who answered was Master Lin Mo, known across the Jianghu as the Blade of Purification, a highly respected, albeit ruthlessly prejudiced, demon hunter. Lin Mo arrived clad in iron-gray armor, his broadsword cleansing light strapped to his back. His movements were the epitome of Wuxia skill, precise, fast, and deadly. He was a hero to humans, but to spirits like Maixing, he represented an existential threat, a man who saw all things non-mortal as inherently evil. Maixing watched him from a distance, her fox eyes narrowing. His martial ki was impressive, but his heart carried the heavy weight of suspicion. Lin Mo immediately established a martial perimeter, dismissing local guards and focusing his entire being on the beast's location. "No spirit will interfere with this hunt," Lin Mo declared to his few human apprentices. "Creatures of magic only breed chaos and deceit." Maixing knew Lin Mo was wrong. The Cinder Beast's energy was erratic, suffering not the cold malevolence of a true demon. She felt a connection to the creature's pain, a sisterly recognition of a powerful being enslaved against its will. This kinship compelled her. She decided, despite the mortal danger, she must reach the beast before Lin Mo's cleansing light destroyed it utterly. Maixing slipped into the mountainside, taking on the form of a beautiful, ethereal traveler, moving with the silent grace that surpassed any human lightfoot technique. She flowed past Lin Mo's checkpoints like mist, but her spiritual presence, subtle though it was, did not escape the hunter's acute senses. Lin Mo halted suddenly, his hand flying to the hilt of his blade. "I detect the scent of trickery. Show yourself, creature." Maixing stepped from behind a pine tree, her illusory form glowing faintly in the twilight. "Master Lin Mo," she said, her voice smooth as water on polished stone. "You have no business here, spirit," Lin Mo growled, drawing his blade halfway. "The Cinder Beast is a plague I will remove." "The Cinder Beast is a victim," Maixing countered, her sorrow visible in her eyes. "It is bound by the tears of shadow, a relic buried beneath its den." Lin Mo scoffed, his skepticism ironclad. "A convenient tale. You seek to protect a demon to harvest its power later?" "I know your kind. You speak of what you fear, not what you know," Maixing retorted, her illusion shimmering slightly with controlled anger. Lin Mo's patience snapped. He launched himself forward in a blurring flash of Wuxia speed, his cleansing light blade aimed at her core. "I will remove the distraction first," he roared, executing the 1,000 strikes of purity form, a rapid sequence of vertical cuts. Maixing did not draw a weapon. Instead, she began to move in a dance of pure defense, her movements tracing complex, silent defensive talismans in the air. She used the silk weave evasion technique, a form of spiritual movement that allowed her to glide around his physical strikes, by predicting the flow of ki. Lin Mo was astonished. His attacks were flawless, precise enough to slice air, yet they met only empty space where Maixing should have been. "You are fast, Fox," Lin Mo admitted, withdrawing slightly, his breath steady despite the fierce effort. "But speed is useless against overwhelming force." He channeled his internal energy into his blade, causing the metal to hum and glow with a searing white light, ready for a decisive strike. Maixing knew she could not sustain the defense forever. Her sorrow deepened, realizing the trust she sought was impossible against such rigid human prejudice. Just as Lin Mo raised his blade for the final annihilating strike, the ground beneath them erupted. The Cinder Beast, disturbed by the powerful martial ki emanating from Lin Mo, burst from the earth, its enormous, corrupted form eclipsing the moon. Its terrifying maw opened, letting out a jet of smoking ash aimed squarely at the spot where Lin Mo was preparing his move. Lin Mo, focused entirely on Maixing, was caught completely off guard. He braced for impact, knowing he couldn't dodge in time. In a move that defied his every expectation, Maixing abandoned her defense and threw herself in front of the demon hunter. She didn't use a shield. Instead, a single glowing blue tail, briefly shedding its illusion, lashed out and wrapped around Lin Mo, pulling him violently out of the path of the blast. The Cinder Beast's corrupted breath scorched the air where they had stood, melting the ancient mountain rock into a shimmering glass puddle. Lin Mo landed hard, gasping for air, the sheer surprise of the fox spirit's sacrifice overriding his immediate pain. Maixing stood upright, her face pale, the defensive maneuver having drained a significant portion of her spiritual energy. "You saved me," Lin Mo whispered, his prejudice momentarily shattered by the undeniable evidence of her goodwill. "I told you, Master Lin Mo," Maixing said, pointing to a pulsating, pitch-black gemstone embedded in the Cinder Beast's massive shoulder. "That is the Tears of Shadow. It is corrupting the Kilin, turning its pure, earth-based ki into destructive cinder. It is suffering, just as my kind suffers under your ignorant blade," she finished, her sorrow echoing in the night air. Lin Mo finally understood the depth of the fox spirit's grief, not for herself, but for the universal injustice faced by mythical creatures. His focus shifted immediately from hatred to strategy. He was a hero of the Zhenghu, and a hero must recognize a genuine threat, regardless of who points it out. "How do we destroy the artifact?" Lin Mo asked, his tone now respectful, if still cautious. "Your blade cannot touch the gem without the correct spiritual alignment," Maixing explained. "It must be cleansed, not shattered. I will use my spirit arts to hold the corruption steady. But I need your pure martial ki to serve as a conduit for the cleansing energy." The plan was impossibly risky. Lin Mo had to channel his energy through Maixing's spiritual field, a blend of power that few humans could survive. "It requires complete trust," Maixing warned. "If your inner ki wavers, or if you hesitate, we will both be consumed by the shadow." Lin Mo, swallowing his lifelong prejudice, looked into her honest, sorrowful eyes and saw no trace of deception. "I trust you, fox spirit." He channeled the full might of his core of the immovable mountain technique. His body becoming a conduit of pure, unyielding energy, Maixing moved. She extended her hand toward the massive, struggling Cinder Beast. Her 9 tails, now fully visible and shimmering with starlight, began to spin, creating a vortex of powerful spiritual energy. This was the true power of the fox spirit, an overwhelming force of natural celestial magic rarely unleashed upon the mortal world. The Kilin roared in pain as the spiritual vortex began to pull at the embedded Tears of Shadow gem. Lin Mo approached the fox spirit from behind, placing his hands lightly on her back, his martial ki flowing steadily into her. The combined energy surged, the human hero's physical prowess mixing with the spirit's ethereal magic, a union previously deemed impossible. The Cinder Beast thrashed violently, desperately trying to shake off the dual attack, its shadow breath striking the ground uselessly. The corrupted gem began to glow brighter, its black light fighting fiercely against the white and blue energies converging on it. Maixing cried out. The pain of forcing the two powers to merge was immense, her mortal form struggling to contain the sheer volume of energy. "Hold steady, Lin Mo," she urged through gritted teeth. "We are almost there. Do not doubt now." Lin Mo felt the urge to recoil, the unfamiliar, wild spiritual energy burning his hands. but he forced himself to remember her sacrifice moments before. He pushed harder, his discipline honed by decades in the Jianghu, creating an anchor of pure martial resolve. With a final, agonizing surge, the Tears of Shadow was ripped from the Killen's shoulder, taking with it a scream of dark magic. The gem exploded into a harmless cloud of black smoke, instantly disintegrating into nothingness. The Cinder Beast collapsed, its dark, smoking scales immediately regaining their original deep sapphire hue. It was no longer the Cinder Beast, but the majestic Shadow Killen, exhausted but free. A protector of the mountains once more, the spiritual energy dissipated. Ma Xing staggered, falling back slightly, caught by Lin Mo's quick reflexes. The demon hunter was still wary, but the cold prejudice had finally melted away, replaced by an overwhelming respect. "Your heart, fox spirit, Lin," Mo said quietly, helping her stand. "It is purer than the light of my own blade." The Shadow Killen slowly rose, its massive head bowing once toward both the fox spirit and the human hunter in a gesture of profound gratitude. Ma Xing smiled, a true, unsorrowful smile that made her illusory form shine. "Go, friend," she whispered to the Killen. "Be free." Lin Mo and Ma Xing stood together as the magnificent creature disappeared into the mists of the Qingfeng Peaks, its presence a silent promise of protection. The fight was over. The city was safe. The impossible alliance had succeeded. Lin Mo realized his entire life, spent in rigid defiance of spirits, had been built on a flawed foundation of fear. "I owe you more than my life, Ma Xing," Lin Mo admitted, sheathing his cleansing light blade. "You have shown me the truest loyalty exists not in blood, but in selfless intent." Ma Xing accepted his apology with a solemn nod. The sorrow in her heart felt lighter, a wound finally starting to heal. "The Jianghu needs less fighting and more understanding, Master Lin Mo," she advised him gently. Lin Mo vowed to carry this new knowledge back into the martial world, changing the demon hunter's code to include respect for benevolent spirits. The two disparate beings, the fox spirit and the martial hero, shared a final moment of silence, a bridge built between two formerly warring realms. As the sun rose, Ma Xing's illusory form began to fade, her spiritual energy depleted and demanding rest. "I must return to the mist," she said. "But the next time we meet, I hope it will be as true allies." Lin Mo simply bowed, his respect absolute. He watched as the nine-tailed spirit dissolved completely, leaving behind only the scent of pine and starlight. He picked up his blade and began his descent back toward the city of Longmen, no longer the blade of purification, but the blade of understanding. The Jianghu was about to learn that true heroism meant looking beyond the surface, recognizing that sorrow and strength could reside even in mythical beasts. Ma Xing's sorrow, though still present, was now tempered by the knowledge that trust was not an impossible dream, but a hard-won victory, and the mountains whispered the name of the fox spirit who chose saving over slaying. The ancient world is full of conflicts where honor clashes with magic and heroes must learn from spirits. Want to explore more legendary tales of the mythical world and martial heroes? Discover all the hidden secrets? Like, share, and subscribe to Storycraft Studio.